community upset and concerned. And today we are here together to get actual information and develop a course of action. If you belong to the media, we don't want any media here. This is a time for us to talk and get facts as they stand and put it out like it's supposed to be put out. Now, this young man and his mother, I know you're a minor, so I'm not going to be asking you the questions as specifics, okay? But I've noticed one thing right now. You are not a thug. Okay?
Is it okay if
now, and I'm not going, and I'm not going to jump to conclusions here, but tell us exactly what happened.
It's my understanding.
And can you speak loud?
Yes.
Okay.
It's my understanding that on Saturday he went to the swimming pool with one of his basketball teammates. It was right after a basketball game. They play basketball for the YMCA. And they got to the pool, and someone came and opened the gate. It was a guy that came and opened the gate for them because the person that lives there that they were going to meet was already inside. So the person let them in. So they walked over to where they were going to take their shoes. They were about to take their shoes and things of that nature off. And that's when Stephanie walked up and said, "You guys have to go. You can't be over here." So they kind of started from there. So she exchanged some words, and somebody made a statement of, "Well, we don't even know you." And that's when she was like, "What? Get out," and just started yelling out racial slurs and telling them to, move. And she actually, it's almost like she assaulted him and then was trying to provoke him as they were walking out. They didn't need to be escorted out because they were already walking out. So she, as far as what we can even see, and which collaborates with what we were told, she struck him actually 3 times. One of the times was not on the video. And he still remained his composure.
He sure did.
As I need to commend him as my child.
That's right.
Because that takes a lot of wherewithal from anyone, an adult. So after that situation happened, the reason why we did not immediately find out about it is because he still had to process it as a child. In addition to that, considering the consequences of people that may not have been thinking as rationally as he did in the midst of that. He had a game the next day. We went to the basketball game. We left from the basketball game. And from the basketball game, we left and headed to Somerville Medical, where his grandmother was rushed, where she passed away.
May I interrupt you a second, if you don't mind? Question. Was this in a subdivision?
This was in a subdivision.
And what was the name of the subdivision?
Reminisce.
And why was he there?
He was there with one of his friends.
Okay, with some of his friends. So, was he trespassing?
No, he was not trespassing. They were actually allowed in. Because someone has to let you in.
Right.
So, someone let them in to get to the person that they were there to see.
Okay.
And it happened so fast to where...
Right. Now, you said words was exchanged.
When I say words was exchanged, someone said, "Well, we don't even know you." And that's when she flew off the handle and acted in such manner that I don't think any adult should have ever acted.
What words did she use to him?
She said, "Y'all need to get y'all stuff and go. You niggers come over here and you guys have to leave right now, or you punks." And I mean, it's recorded, so we have the audio as well as the visual in reference to what was said.
She called him a punk.
Punks, you punks.
I understood she used the N-word.
Correct.
She used the N-word.
Correct. Now, that wasn't recorded. When she started to act even more aggressive, that's when he pulled his phone out to record it, and I'm glad that he did, because had he didn't, we would be having a different conversation.
That's right.
Okay. I heard somewhere that they were talking about that he called her a bitch ass.
I can't. There's no record of that, so that's something that he definitely has said. He has not said any of that. If that's something that somebody else said, he didn't hear that. And even if he did, that does not negate the fact of assault that was bestowed upon my child.
Okay. So she hit him.
Correct. And slapped and punched it, like she slapped him in the face and hit him across the chest. And his phone that he just got for his birthday, which was just on the 19th, fell, and he was able to pick up his stuff as they proceeded out.
Okay, I got a question to ask, and this is a very serious question here. I've noticed on Facebook that by him verbally, they'll say that he verbally talked with this woman. Do you think that she took the law in her own hands?
It sounds like she did, and even the deputy stated that when she even said something about calling 911, she should have stopped following them and did just that. But she felt like she had the right to take the law into her own hands, which she did not have the right to do. And he is a minor.
Yeah. Okay. What was she expecting from 911 when you called her? When she said she's going to call 911, what was she expecting?
No, she said, I have 3 numbers that I can call, 911. That's what she said, and I quote.
Okay.
It was a threat.
It was a threat. Yeah, I got a question to ask you.
She hit him.
No,
from what I heard in the video, someone says, "You trying to get beat up?" Because at that point, he could have defended himself.
Yeah, but
he sure could have.
Yeah,
he could have.
Yeah.
That's when she said, I got 3 numbers I can call, 911. So she felt entitled, protected, and...
Okay, after she slapped your child 3 times, she felt that she still can call 911 and they would take her side.
She struck him again after she even said, I have 3 numbers that I can call. So she struck him before she said that, and she even struck him afterwards, as if she was enraged in the fact that she can't play the victim to the situation because he did not move from his sacred space of peace.
Okay. I'm going to open this floor up, and I want everybody, people who wants to talk, I want to hear from them for at least 1 minute. And I want y'all to ask questions or what have you. Does anyone have any questions?
I don't have a question.
Okay.
But I do want to make a statement and say that I commend the young man for the mannerism which he handled himself. Because we all know we can get enraged, we can all get upset, and we can all reach back and you hit me, I'm gonna hit you. But I respect the fact that he did not. That and the fact that he realized he was a male, I'm sure, and he realized that he was a youth and he was not going to do that.
And he's an African American male, and even if he stuck out his arm, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but I have to interject this. Even if he stuck out his arm to get her out of his personal space, this will be a different conversation.
That's right.
Nothing else holds any validity to what anybody has to say about any words that may have been exchanged. Trespassing doesn't matter, any of that. She could have said, "Where's your parents? I'm calling the police." What she did was left her disabled child to attack someone else's child. So that says a lot about her.
Okay. I am going to say this. I listened to the story. I am very concerned about a lot of it.
Very concerned.
And I want to applaud this young man. I want to applaud you, sir. You did the right thing by walking away. You really did. I don't know how I could say that and how many times I could say that. You did the right thing by walking away. White privilege is real in America. White privilege is real in America. Ma'am, the scenario could have been a lot different.
A lot different.
Because there's no way under any scenario that I could see that when the cops come up there, they would have taken this young man's side. And if I'm being overreacting, let me know.
I have a statement. I'm behind the camera.
Please.
I actually noticed that, like he said, several times that people kept defending this woman and saying that, this young man did X, Y, and Z. And I reminded them he's a minor. And I don't care what he did. If somebody actually said he may have been exposing himself to kids. Let me tell you, I said she would have been happy to call the police and have him locked up right after she beat his behind like she did.
Okay. Yeah, I understand that. Now, sir?
No, I actually.
Yes, sir.
If you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna stand up because My name is Robert Conway, and I want to make it clear that I fully believe that there is a racial issue in this country. I fully believe and fully support the community's efforts to stop any kind of a racial situation that is happening in the Low Country, in the city, in the country in general. Okay? I am here because I am a resident of the Remnant subdivision. And I am actually a friend of Miss Sebby. I am not here representing either one of those things. I am here on my own behalf because I feel it is very important that I come here and be able to speak to this situation.
Thank you.
That being said, while I don't personally have any evidence of any action specifically involving your son, or any actions specifically involving Miss Sebby, other than the film that has been already shown, I am here to say that one, there is evidence out there that it was not 2 young men who came into the Reminisce community, that it was 3. That it was 3 young men who left the Reminisce community. That at least one, not him, but at least one of the young men, prior to any incident of being ejected, is on camera flipping the bird to the person who took the picture.
As is this young, as is this woman. As is.
I would also
That's fair enough. Go ahead. Go ahead. Let him talk.
So
He has that right. This is America.
So and speaking to the trespassing issue, it is clearly marked on our pool that you have to be with the resident, and or otherwise you would be trespassing. Clearly marked on several signs. These gentlemen, I'm not sure if your son was among them, but at least one of the gentlemen I have personally seen in the pictures I have seen at our pool before. Now, several pool rules were broken by these young men. One, if you are under the age of 16, you must be accompanied by someone. You need to be there with a resident. You need to be in proper swimming attire. If a fob is not on your person, if you cannot open the gate yourself, you don't belong there. And we have put out residents who did not have their fob, tried to jump the fence, and we have a serious issue in our community, long-standing, with people jumping our fence and swimming in our pool.
I'm not trying to cut you
No,
off.
it's okay.
But I think, I want to hear everything out.
Absolutely.
We're very civil there.
I appreciate that.
We want to make sure when we make a decision this evening that it's going to be the right one.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, sir, you have a question, I believe.
Yeah.
Please.
My name is Fred Rock. I'm Darshawn's grandfather. Now, granted, what you're saying, no disrespect, but all of that can be presented in court.
Absolutely.
Because we're not here to go back and forth. We're going to handle the assault issue first, according to the law, to the full extent, and then we will go from there. We live in a subdivision also. I mean, I'm not doubting what you're saying, but until I see it in writing, it's just hearsay.
I understand that.
So,
I absolutely.
I mean, we have the same problem with our pool. But the whole issue here is it's assault.
Put her hands on a minor.
If trespassing is being done, you have to call the authority. You can't become a vigilante because you're just as guilty as the person you're trying to
As I said, I'm not here speaking on
I'm just saying. I mean, it's the fact of the matter is, if the shoe was on the other foot,
It would be ugly right now.
And this is not saying that. I mean, unfortunately, whatever happened to that lady is a choice she made. There's no old saying, put brain in gear before mouth. And unfortunately, it's neighbors like we have them in our subdivision. You know, I'm pretty sure they're all over. They feel that. I mean, the guest, he was a guest of someone. Now, trespassing is a whole. It can be interpreted many ways. And I don't know if you're on the board at your HOA. I'm pretty sure they have guidelines and rules. Every homeowner should have a package according to the rules and guidelines. From parking after 9 to trash cans being left out after the trash run. That doesn't give a homeowner the authority to take legal action in their own hand.
You're absolutely right.
Okay.
So that's all I gotta say. And I can say for my grandson belonged to the distinguished men of Somerville.
He looks like it.
He's well mannered.
And his mentor also resides in that same neighborhood.
So
I do not.
Can I give him a chance to rebuttal, sir, please?
So this is a hearsay situation.
On whose
No, it's on
No,
film.
I'm saying this is a hearsay situation I'm about to speak on. Because the initial confrontation, the initial contact, the first thing that was asked was, "Do you have a fob? Do you live here?" To all three young men, and it had. I say this from my opinion and my heart. Had a fob been produced, had an address been given in the neighborhood, there would have been no problem.
I have to interrupt you now, myself, okay?
I'm going to sit down.
As an activist, I've really got to interrupt you.
I understand.
As an activist, I really have to interrupt you. You are telling me that teenage boys didn't tell these people where they live or who they were visiting. That gives that person the right to slap them 3 times.
Absolutely.
And wait a minute, let me finish. And to tell them, hey, if you got a major problem with me slapping you, go and call 911. They will back me.
I'm not doing
Please, and
any
I'm not
action.
trying to be over dramatic here, but this
The
sucks.
officer was so disgusted he was in tears watching the video and getting the recollection of what happened.
Okay. Now, I appreciate you saying that hearsay, sir. I really appreciate you did clarify that. That's hearsay. But that does not excuse the fact that this young man was slapped 3 times, and I believe is racial.
As he was leaving.
Yes, ma'am.
And I've heard you say that you guys have this is an issue, a constant issue of people coming over. So is this something that the homeowners, that all the homeowners do? Like you assault people for coming without a key fob? Is that what you're saying they do ever?
No one has. We have not had an incident of this magnitude ever.
The only reason, and I'm so sorry to interrupt, but the only reason why you guys have not had a situation of this magnitude is because she assaulted the right child this time. There are grown men that have messaged people to let them know that they have actually encountered the same treatment,
And I'm in that neighborhood.
and they live over there. In addition to that, someone had a birthday party over there. He said a few weeks ago, and he was asked to leave. And just so that way, it just to keep down, because we understand how things are and what's been going on. We're going to deal with the reality of the world that we live in. He left. Had somebody put their hands on that grown man, guess what would have happened? You understand what I'm saying? Like, yes, he's a child. He may not be built up like one, but he has a right to be protected
That's
as
right.
a child. So, and I apologize in advance, but nothing else is relevant to this. We'll deal with everything else. If there was disrespect, we don't play that. We'll deal with that as well. But if somebody needed to put their hands on him, it would let it be me or his father. And the only reason why his father is not here is because we had a death in the family. So, again, none of those points are really even valid in this particular situation.
Yes, ma'am. Also, yes, sir,
I
please.
just want to say, Robert, and I do understand your concern. Like I said, us as a homeowner, we've been living in Sunburst Lake 20 years. I mean, you got them on both sides of the fence. You know, we have our pool has been desecrated. They even stole the security camera, and we have no trespassing sign. And so this is why it's important, unfortunately, for this lady. I make it a point to attend my homeowners meeting because that way you now unfortunately now she done dragged the HOA into possible litigation too.
Mm-hmm.
Because
are you representing
I
HOA?
said at the very beginning, I'm here representing myself.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Without reservation.
And I understand the value, of the homeowner. You want to make sure that everybody that lives, because we pay a fee to live in here, they enjoy the comforts of what we're paying for. But once again, if it's validated, if she felt that they were trespassing, she should have called.
She sure should have.
Yeah, she should.
It's as simple as that. Everything else is really
right, sir. And you are absolutely correct. Right here. This is a hearing before what I call a hearing before we decide action, and we are going to take action. What I've heard here, and I really appreciate you coming. You give a lot of clarity.
If I may speak on one more point before you say that.
Please.
Okay. I just want to make it clear that I had a thought, and now I'm losing it.
Go ahead.
That on a personal level, I absolutely I'm on board with anything that you're wanting to go forward with to the best of my ability to do. On a personal level.
Okay.
I do not tolerate racism in my presence. I do not tolerate white privilege in my presence. I do not tolerate any of that, and I would love the opportunity, actually, to be a part of whatever program or whatever action or solution.
So you have to understand this. We have gone through this too many times in our community. And every time we go through this, our kids are demonized. Every time we go through this, our children are demonized. And this has been an attempt to demonize this young man. You just said that they show a film of them leaving I don't know whether they were leaving the pool or whether they were leaving the house, that somebody gave the finger. And also I heard the word bitch ass, or they use the word bitch ass. What they are trying to say is that these were unruly children
but didn't hit her.
that they couldn't control. Therefore, she had to take in her own actions to control what's happening. That's what you were telling me, and that's what they're showing. And that's why we have this public hearing, to let everybody know when we start this, it's because it's real.
Right.
This young lady was slapped. This young man was slapped 3 times, sir. And she had the nerve to say, I am going to call 911 on you and they will protect me 100%. And if you do not do as I say, you could be killed.
Basically.
I remembered my point that I wanted to make, and I just want to make sure that this gets...
Sir, I hear you, and I appreciate that.
Just one more.
But we have too many of our children incarcerated.
Absolutely.
Too many of our children dead.
Absolutely.
Daily.
And if I may
For
speak
this.
to the fact, if I may
Yes,
speak,
sir, please.
I'd like for Robert to
if I may speak to the fact, because this is important to me as a homeowner in that community, we do not want to be the people that are calling police on a young man who may or may not belong there doing the wrong thing. We don't want to be the site of a situation where a police officer comes into our community and something crazy happens. We don't want to be, which is why
I don't want to overtalk myself.
no, that's okay. Which is why our community attempts to keep the police out of situations. So if now this being said, that policy's done in our community. First thing, the police will be called on all situations, from what I've been informed of by other people. I personally don't want to see the police involved.
But if
So-
you hit her, the police still
Yeah.
would.
No, I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about
okay,
assault.
you go
That's
ahead, sir.
another thing entirely.
Sir, y'all, I've really heard enough. I really have heard. Sir, go ahead.
Robert, I just want to say that. See, that's why the country is in the situation it's in, because you get rational people that can think rational, but that's why we have law enforcement in place. They have the say. When we start taking matters in our own hand, we don't know which way it's gonna go. And I agree with you.
Yeah.
You know, like we every time you know, I'm pretty sure everybody in this room have had an incident where they had to call authorities. And that's doing the right thing, because now, if she hadn't done that, we wouldn't even be sitting here talking. And
Or if he would have said, "Leave me alone," blah 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 blah, and started yelling at her.
well, I'm just saying from a rational standpoint.
Yes, sir.
She chose to take matters into her own hands and unfortunately drag you and all your neighbors into this mess. Without, she was only thinking of herself, her 5 minutes or 10 minutes of fame, and that's exactly what she gonna get as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
I have a question from behind the camera again.
Mm-hmm.
Robert, as a community member, do you support maybe having her banned from that pool for her behavior?
I am, because of my own reservations about the situation, I'm really not going to make any kind of a comment on that situation, other than to just say that, as I said, I'm fully in support, and I will be there for you with whatever action you decide to take.
And we appreciate this. I think this conversation we've had and we're having here is a rather unique one. We have gotten ahead of the ball. Now the whole world, the majority, a lot of people is going to see this, and they're going to say, wow. They're going to say, if that young man would open his mouth, the situation would have been very different. Because the cops would have been there, and either they would have been handcuffs or something.
It'd have hurt him.
Here again, sir, young man, I appreciate that. And I am mad because they were trying to demonize you. I am really upset that they were trying to demonize you, making you look like a mad animal. And that's what they were getting ready to do. And so I appreciate you coming here telling us what they were planning on doing to this young man. Then you go back and tell them, I believe they have caused a major issue in our community. And we are not going to back down. Okay, you tell them that. This has got to stop. Okay, I feel that we are going to talk tomorrow, and we are going to have some demonstrations. Okay? If I'm talking out of turn, ma'am, you tell me.
Okay.
Well, I think our fight is not just this young boy. We've got a lot of our kids incarcerated. A lot of our kids have been beaten. And we got a lot of them in the grave because of white privilege. And I can't take it anymore. I simply cannot take it anymore. Yes, sir.
And I just want to say this to everybody in the room. It's the fact of the matter is, Summerville, South Carolina is growing by leaps and bounds. This is a no-brainer. When it was hospitable to live in the area, you could mediate your differences of opinion. and you can walk. But the city is growing so vast and big. Once again, that's what we have law enforcement for. Let them do their job because that's what they're paid to.
That's what they're paid for. And if they do wrong, we take care of them.
Right.
Amen.
And you don't put your community or your subdivision at risk over something that some person felt that they had to take matters into their own hands. I do it all the time. If I have a disagreement in my neighborhood, I call law enforcement.
That's
got to.
trespassing before we didn't put our hands on, and it was in our yard. So
And you know, it's all about the best solution.
Okay.
And I'll agree with Mr. Smith. And it's not just Afro Americans. This problem is gonna fester to where it's gonna affect everybody's kids and everybody's teenagers. At some point, people got to be held accountable for their actions. You can no longer look away. And I know, you know, yeah, unfortunately, she's probably regretting that she did all of this. But unfortunately, choices come with consequences.
Amen.
And this
Amen.
this
And this one is
this
big.
ain't gonna lay down.
Yeah, this is not going to lay down.
And I would say this, Mr. Smith, even without you guys, this ain't gonna lay down.
Oh
If you
no.
don't know me by now. This ain't laying down.
Well, you have a community behind you, my brother.
This ain't laying down.
You have a community behind you.
I
My name is Fred Rockamore. Last name is spelled ROCQUEMORE. She
Y'all
picked
hear
the right family.
I hear you.
I love
hear you.
him.
But we're gonna end this.
okay.
We know where we are.
Pretty.
This is gonna end. We will be contacting. We got the press conference tomorrow
Yes.
at
We're
2:30.
probably gonna have to change.
I'm sorry?
Text message. We're probably gonna have to change that time.
What now?
We're probably gonna have to change that time. Did you get my text message?
No, I didn't. Oh, we'll talk. Let's talk.
Yes.
We'll talk. Yeah. We're gonna have. I want the whole family to be there. Once we work this time out this evening, and that's it. We are not gonna lay down. Okay. Facebook world. We had this conversation, and I'm glad it was very open and very candid. We proved quite a few things, and that was these young boys were really not thugs. They were typical teenagers doing teenager things. But I am going to say, because of their skin color, it escalated to a much more dangerous level given the atmosphere of our community at the present time.
That's right.
We cannot let white privilege live like this. We are part of this society. We are part of this thing we call America. This exceptionalism, if you will. And we're going to fight this. We are going to fight this, and we are going to let people know that we are tired. Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Thank you. Okay.
Right, are you beautiful people? It was lovely